I do want to ask about the Bearsville Records and Albert Grossman, which you must have some. I mean, he the manager of Bob Dylan and Janis Joplin and Gordon Lightfoot. Did you have any run-ins with him? I mean, unfortunately, you kind of were associated with him at the tail end of his life. But what was he like?
He was an interesting.
Not what you'd expect.
Yeah, like just larger than life, or just like you knew whenever he entered a room. That's what I expect. But
he sort of wandered around Bearsville and Woodstock. He had that sort of vaguely Benjamin Franklin look to him. With the long ponytail, the gray ponytail, and the pulled back, and the kind of portly fellow. And you could definitely, you knew when he was entering the room, and people loved him very much. His employees really liked him a lot. It was a weird thing being on the label, I mean, when we thought we finished like this, he had just employed Todd Rundgren as the head of A&R. Suddenly he became the head of A&R right as we were finished with the record. And he had Todd listen to the record, and Todd was like, this sucks, this sucks, this sucks. I do this differently. And so here we are with this finished record that Chris Butler from The Waitresses and Michael Frondelli, who ended up running Capitol Studios, they'd mixed it, thought we were done, put it to bed. So then Gene had to come back up and did a remix with our friend Mark McKenna, who ended up being the head of A&M Studios out in L.A., and Todd had sort of given him a blueprint of like, I would do this, don't do this, do this. So the record you hear is not the Butler mix. It is the other mix. It's the McKenna and Gene Holder mix. But that was all at the behest of, and I think as soon as we got that finished, suddenly Todd was no longer the head of A&R. So we had any number of guesses as to why that happened. But Albert owned the studio. Albert owned the houses that we stayed at and rented those to us. Albert owned the restaurants where we paid to eat. It was a kind of a, if you want to call it a 360 deal.
Yeah.
Not in the modern use of the term, but it got us coming and going.
Well, I have turned a profit recording the dB's album because he was charging Warner Brothers for the studio time, and he was probably charging them for the rental of the houses where we stayed, and we were eating at his restaurants. I think he probably made a profit just making the record.
Yeah.
Oh hell yes.
Oh hell yeah. Did you guys ever go to Big Pink? Did you get to record anything there? No.
Not a studio, I don't think.
Not really. It's an Airbnb now.
Yeah.
You can't go in the basement.
Yeah, well, that's too bad.
Ooh.
But we did, we recorded at Bearsville Studios, and what's really interesting to me is that we had used this beautiful board at Ramport Studios in London, which is the Who studio. It was at Neve, I think, and it was a custom made and stuff like that. And that was we finished repercussion, got it all mixed and stuff. We actually mixed it at Air in London, and then put it out. And then we spent a couple of years trying to figure out how to get an American deal. And we finally signed with Bearsville. And we went up there to record, and by God, that board was in Studio A.
Mm.
Albert had bought it and moved it over there. So that was an interesting, the two records mixed on, recorded on the same board.